Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my video speaking about free to play and what it needs to keep it successful on Steam. I have some ideas for content that they could add to free to play to keep it somewhat engaging, to keep all of those new players around that are starting with Steam. If you go to a free-to-play world in BirthUp, you'll see all of these people. There are so many people doing the tutorial, and it's like the Pathfinder system that allows you to go and experience some Slayer and do some mining and smithing and all of that stuff in BirthUp. So you see all of these new players around that are such low levels with their bronze armor that they've smithed from this tutorial, and it's just such a wholesome experience, and I really like this. And you see so many of the higher levels helping out and stuff as well, and there's people that, you know, guide them and stuff like that, which is just really awesome to see. But this reminds me of back in the day Runescape, right? When there would be loads of like newer players running around as well as really high ones. We haven't seen an influx in new players like this for such a long time. But the thing is, we want to keep these players. I have a few ideas on how we could keep these players engaged until they get a bond for membership or until they decide to buy membership with their real money. So my first idea is a very simple one. If you look at the skills in a free-to-play world, your member skills are capped at level 5, but they made archaeology go to level 20. This provided so much more for archaeology, and it allowed free-to-play players to get further into the skill and explore a little bit more that it has to offer. You really cannot explore anything with a skill that's level 5. You can plant some potatoes for farming. You can make like the very basic potion for herblore. This would be a really nice way to introduce free-to-play players to a couple of the member skills, and they can actually try them out instead of literally only doing the lowest level thing possible and being done within 2 minutes. Level 5 is just not enough of a taster for member skills in my opinion. Up them all to 20 like archaeology. Archaeology, I think being 20 is amazing. Make them all like that. That'd be awesome. Secondly, whenever someone starts this game, the interface is so overwhelming. Yes, people can go to their settings and do something like legacy mode. So if I was to change it to legacy interface, it makes it way less cluttered. But at the same time, we all have huge screens nowadays. So the legacy interface, there's so much that is just lacking on your screen, and it barely takes up any space. You barely have any of the necessities, and you have to continuously swap between things. Like, that's just not fun for anyone. So with the release of Steam, it's the perfect opportunity to allow sharing of your interface. And a lot of different games have like Steam Workshop stuff where people make things, put it in, and others can download them. Maybe make a Steam Workshop if it's possible for interfaces, because if someone can put their interface on Steam and you like the look of it, you can just download it, and then you can load that up and be really happy with this cool interface without it being too overwhelming. You may want to change a couple of things, but it will have all the necessities there instead of just having the bare minimum or being so overwhelmed with what type of stuff to put on your screen. I've been playing this game for so long, I'm 5.6, and my interface is trash. My interface is not good by any means. Even I get overwhelmed sometimes with stuff in my interface. A new player, they're gonna have no chance. Either that, or just give people actual interfaces. The default RuneScape ones are just not good enough. One really cool thing that I remember reading, I think it was on Reddit like a year ago. When you complete Dragon Slayer, which is like an end game quest in free to play, why not reward the people with a bit of membership? Even if it's 7 days membership or something for completing Dragon Slayer. How cool would that be? It wouldn't remove your trade limit or anything like that. You still need to use a bond or real life money in order to remove that trade limit. But it'll give people a taster of what members is like for a couple of days. And then, you know, if they enjoy it and they like that, then they're more likely to resubscribe. I reckon the amount of people that would quit from being bored from like the lack of rewards in free to play would be very high. Yes, some people will get membership, but I think giving them that, trial period would really increase people continuing to try out members. Give them a taste of the good life and they'll want it. Lastly, something that I think would be very cool would be a end goal boss. Yes, free-to-play has KBD and Giant Mole, but those bosses are trash and they give you no money. In an ideal world, I think the concept that I would describe would be Giant Mimic in free-to-play. A boss that has a few mechanics that could kill you if you don't pay attention, but not enough mechanics to overwhelm a new player. Easily killable with Revo++, etc. And a boss that has multiple difficulties. It will have a difficulty for a low level player, and then medium, and then high level, and each tier is more rewarding, has a better drop rate on the rare items. I would say this boss would need to be free to play only. Having a free to play boss in members just destroys it. Everyone would just use tier 92s, it'd die in 2 seconds, the economy would be ruined for that boss. If it's free to play only, even if you're a maxed account, you can only use up to like a rune 2-hander +3 or whatever it is, and you're going to be capped at that, which means there's only going to be so much you can do to that boss in terms of kills per hour. Not only that, is it would entice high level players to go to free-to-play worlds. That means the new players and the old players alike are interacting or seeing each other, and, you know, like back in the day, seeing those people in that dragon armor and the really cool stuff, it felt awesome. Maybe we could get that feeling back with a cool free-to-play boss that even members might try out to get their logs or whatever. This boss would have to drop a couple of items that would actually be useful for the free-to-play player to farm. A good way to do this is make it drop members items. You can sell members items in free-to-play, and members items are a much harder thing to crash in price. Herbs, stuff like that. Make it drop those, and then they can sell those on the GE for profit, even if they can't use it. A good way to farm a bond that isn't just making goddamn steel ingots over and over and over again, or killing spell wisps for countless hours. That's boring. Give them some fun content to earn their bond. Not only can it give members items when it's killed, maybe give the best in slot free to play weapons from the boss as a very rare drop, so they can get a taste of getting a really big item and that thrill and that Runescape feeling of bossing and getting that thing that you've been working towards and then selling it, getting that big money and doing what you need to with it. It could drop a best in slot weapon for each tier that is like a tier 70 weapon for free to play or something. I don't know, it could just be something cool, or like a nice spec weapon for free to play that is like a tier 60 or whatever. I'm sure Jagex could balance it accordingly. Then the last thing, which I can compare to a giant mimic, is give it a cosmetic that is super rare. Give it like a 1 in 10,000 drop that is a lottery item. Imagine a new player grinding, getting the levels to kill the boss, killing the boss a couple of times and getting that lottery item, posting it on Reddit, being super happy, getting tons of money. That's gonna grip them. That's gonna make them so engaged with the game. I know it has for me with clues and stuff. It's why I'm so addicted to clues, getting those big dies. I think that type of stuff would be so cool for a new player especially. Obviously, this is just my ideas. I don't think Jagex is going to do any of this, but I would absolutely love it if they did things like this, because they want to keep their new players engaged. You want to keep them playing. You don't want them getting bored and stopping. There's a ton of influx in players. Give them some content. In the next couple of weeks, provide them with a little bit of content. Provide some content for the low levels and have them enjoy an update and experience updates as well. Free-to-play hasn't had an update since what? Like Fletching became free-to-play, which was years ago. Show free-to-play a little bit of love. Show that you actually care about these new players, and I think they'll stick around. That's just my take on it. Do let me know what you think in the comments down below. It was just kind of like a little bit of a rant style video on something that I think would be really beneficial to the game. I know you guys like these little ranty videos, and I thought it'd be a cool time to talk about it. I spoke about it on stream a couple of times, and it gets the discussions flowing. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know if any of the ideas that I spoke about sounded cool. And as always, until next time, see ya.